Hey, good afternoon, everyone. It's Mike here with CareStream, and today we're going to start on our three-part mini-series with part one today. And today we're going to talk about dispelling a couple of myths that surround low back pain. We're going to make sure what low back pain really is, and then we're going to go into some exercises to get you started. So today we're going to talk about pain. Okay, a lot of people associate low back pain with low back problems. In a lot of the cases, in my experience, it's really not true. Pain is a symptom of a problem. It's not necessarily the exact existing place of the actual problem. So a lot of people, when they go into low back pain, they want to treat the low back. They're just really adamant about, oh my gosh, my low back, this and that. But what we do as healthcare professionals, and what we should be doing, is we need to break down what is causing the actual pain. So we look over here at my little graphic. We've got the spine into the top of the hips, spinal stabilizers, and then we've got the hips and the legs here. So what I like to do is I like to think of the spine as like a communication tower. And these spinal stabilizers here represent the guy wires of that tower that stabilize and hold that tower rock solid. Now, a lot of people, when they have low back pain, what do? They want to stretch the low back to alleviate the pain. So if we take these muscles as the guy wires and the spine as the tower, and we start stretching the muscles to loosen the muscles, what happens to the tower? The tower gets unstable and can start rocking back and forth, topple over, etc. You get it. It makes the tower unstable. Unstable back, unhappy back. What we need to do is we need to address the hips. Why? Because we spend so much time sitting. We shut the glutes off. We shut the hamstrings off. We shut the deep hip stabilizers off. When the hips don't support, the back takes over. That causes a lot of overstrain on the back. So what we need to do is we need to stabilize the spine and activate the hips. And in doing so, what we do is we shift all the load onto the hips where it should be, and we shift the stability of the spine with the core belt that wraps around here with the obliques, and the abs are in front. Spinal stabilizers run down the side. And then what we have is we have a nice, strong, stable back, and we have happy, mobile hips. So in my experience, 80% of my low back cases, I've actually gone after the hips. All of a sudden, I get asked, well, why aren't you working on my low back? Well, it's because the low back is not the problem. That's maybe where you're feeling the pain, but that's not where the problem lies. The problem lies because your hips are so tight and immobile, it's pulling down on the spine, which is loosening those guy wires, those spinal stabilizers, and unstable spine, unhappy spine. So now what we're going to do is we're going to turn over to the floor. I'm going to show you one exercise to get you guys going, and then in part two and part three, we're going to go ahead and do some more exercises to keep you guys activated, mobile, and stable. All right, guys, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and go to the exercise portion of today's part one series of the low back injury prevention program. And what we're going to need is a foam roller. And if you don't have one, get one, okay? You're going to become new BFFs with your foam roller. We're going to be using this a lot in our other mini series coming up. It is an absolutely essential tool for mobility. So what we're going to do today is I'm actually going to spoil it. I'm going to give you two exercises, bit of a sneak peek to our injury prevention program on the site that are going to help mobilize and alleviate hip tension and also increase upper back flexibility. So what we're going to do with our foam roller is we're going to place it in between the knee and the hip. Okay, this is going to reduce the amount of movement that you actually need to do in the body. Okay, we're going to take our holding leg, we're going to bring it over top onto the floor, and then from there we're going to roll down to the knee, and we're going to roll all the way up to the hip. And what this is doing is this is loosening the IT band. And the IT band is a very powerful band that connects right up into the side of the hip. And when it gets tight, especially from sitting or high impact sports, what it can do is it really pulls down on the hips, which then indirectly affects low back. Okay, so we're going to roll back and forth. Now, this is going to be a fairly tender spot for most people. So more is not better. What we want to do is start out with 8 to 10 rolls on that IT band. You're going to do both sides. And as it becomes a little bit more comfortable, we're going to increase the amount of time spent on it. If you spend too much time on it, you can cause some intramuscular and intertendon bruising. Not a good thing. Then you got to ice, then you got to wait to do it. So less is more for now. Okay, so we're going to roll down to the knee, up to the hip. Okay, number 2. What we're going to do is we're going to place the foam roller at the bottom of the rib cage, and we're going to place our hands behind our head, and we're going to breathe in as we go around the foam roller. Now it's really important you keep the hips on the floor mat at all times. Hands behind the head, we're going to breathe in. Go as far as we can. Hold. Breathe out, coming up. We're going to roll it up the back. Breathing in. And as we get over top of the shoulder blades, we're going to tuck the elbows. Breathing in. We're going to go all the way back down, and we're going to repeat that process a couple times. This is going to help mobilize our upper back, and it's going to also help keep the low back out of the flexibility area and keep that stability in the low back while we increase mobility in the upper back. Stay tuned for part 2. Coming your way next week, Monday. Thank you.